Commission meeting to order on this Tuesday, March 1st, 2016. It is now 4:33. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? Kathy, could you lead us, please? Thank you. Can we have a roll call on the commissioners?
Soto Persley.
Here.
Casperkey.
Here.
Navejas.
Here.
Myrick.
Present.
Hopper.
Here. For the record, all 5 are present, none are absent. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Okay, number 4, communications.
None were received.
Okay. Number 5, homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. We should have 4 applicants tonight.
Commissioners, we have all 4 applicants present for the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. If you'd like to come up, please.
Can they please come forward? Welcome, thank you for coming out tonight.
I see Mr. Rojas and is a city employee and also number 4, Serrano? What department are you with?
Department of Justice.
Justice?
So how did you hear about the program?
Me, well, actually, through a couple of coworkers, there's a couple of them work out here, live out here in Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
And, I mentioned to them where I was trying to buy a home and suggested I look into it.
Okay, good, good. How about Serena? How did you hear about the program?
I am sure.
Oh, you are, I'm sorry, I thought you was Rogers.
Rojas.
Rojas.
On Zillow, there was an ad.
On Zillow?
Yeah, one of the descriptions for a house in Hammond, there was an ad that said, asked about the Hammond Home Loan Program.
Oh, okay,
along with it.
okay. What is
I'm sorry, could you say that again? There was an app?
no, ad.
Zillow.com.
Ad. Zillow, I'm sorry. I apologize, thank you.
Mr. Avila, how did you hear about our program? Señor Avila, ¿cómo usted oyó del programa de nosotros?
Por parte de fui yo para una persona para la ayuda de venir aquí para pedir la ayuda.
Fue una persona de aquí, de la ciudad de nosotros.
Sí,
¿Un realtor o alguien del banco?
no, pues me recomendaron con Jennifer.
Ok, so la señora Jennifer, ok. Y usted, bueno, ya le pregunté quién era su prestador
Como
del banco o de quien sea, del sitio.
¿cómo se llama?
Bueno, la señora Jennifer.
Jennifer Rojas.
Sí, ok, so ella sabe todo.
Ujú, sí, ella tiene toda la información.
Okay, 'cause Jennifer's the one that helped you with the program, so she know who the lender and everybody is. Okay.
So,
Muchas gracias y perdone, no lo quiero hacer sentir incómodo.
Okay.
and then we have who? Cynthia and Timothy. How did you guys hear about the program? How did you hear about the program? Oh, you can't, I'm sorry.
My realtor,
Who's your realtor?
Curtin Company.
Oh, the Trail Kirk. Yeah, I know the Trail. Okay. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Anyone else have any questions? Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval for the following 4 applicants.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval for the 4 applicants that are here tonight. Is there any further discussion or questions? There is none. Roll call, please.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Espargí,
Yes.
Navejas,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Autrich.
Yes. Motion passes 5 yes.
Congratulations.
Felicidades.
And welcome to Hammond.
Good luck.
Thank you for choosing Hammond.
Okay, we'll move to number 6, our reports. Mr. Phil Talon, can you share anything tonight, or?
Sure, just 2 items, Commissioners. Good evening. Well, first, I want to wish our president a happy birthday, since today is his birthday. Happy birthday to him. Don't look a day over 62. We have 2 events coming up. One is March 10th. It's the Disabilities Breakfast. I apologize. It's March 31st. It was actually switched. At one point, it was scheduled for March 10th. But it's the Disabilities Breakfast, so we'd love to have some of the redevelopment commissioners show up and be part of the great event. It's always good to honor people that are basically, in my mind, great examples for our community, leaders of our community. Also, on March 2nd, tomorrow, at the Byway Brewery, the HC3, which is also known as the Hessville Business Association, or was previously known as the Hessville Business Association, is having kind of an inaugural event. Obviously, it's their first one at Byway since they opened about 3 weeks ago. And they're inviting anybody and everybody to come out and just have a discussion on different things that they're looking to do for 2016 in the Hessville area and beyond. So if any of the redevelopment commissioners are able to attend.
What time is that?
That one begins at 5:30. And I believe there's no cost. There'll be light appetizers, and then you pay for drinks. So if you're interested, you can come out. That'd be great. And that's all I have. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Okay, number 7, bills, register of claims.
Mr. President, I make a motion to pay the register of claims for February 3rd through February 26th, 2016. Register of claims number R52963 through R53064. 9, excuse me. Should I
Second.
repeat those numbers again? Go. Okay, let me start again. R52963 through R53069.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that clarification. Okay, we have a motion and a second for the register of claims for February 3rd, 2016 through February 26th, 2016. Claims R52963 through R53069. Is there any questions or discussion on these claims? Okay, roll call on the claims, please.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Espargí,
Yes.
Navejas,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Autrich.
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 8, new and unfinished business. I have one thing.
Commissioners, we do have one item today. As you may recall, we sold property at Oxbow Landing to a group called ATG, and they are in the process right now of constructing a 36,000 square foot Class A office building, which we're very excited about. Through this process, when ATG, after they purchased the property, there were some issues with some of the soil. So what I'd like to do is have Kevin Smith come up and kind of give you an overview of what has happened and what we're putting in front of you this evening.
Good evening, welcome, Kevin.
Good evening, Commissioners, and happy birthday, Mr. President. As Phil indicated, the developer of the 36,000 square foot Class A office building, which is ATG Real Estate Development LLC, And they later assigned their rights under the development agreement to 2929 Carlson Drive LLC, have, as you know, been constructing this really what appears to be going to be a great building on Oxbow Landing and one of the only, if not the only of its kind along the 8094 corridor. So it's pretty exciting that Hammond's able to say that. One of the things, however, that came up during the excavation of the property was the discovery of some material in the soil that was unexpected. And what this did was it increased the cost to ATG for the excavation and preparation of the site and compaction of the soil and things like that, that they needed to basically take out the bad soil and bad elements in the soil off-site and then load in additional truckloads of good soil, whereas we thought that the soil was in good shape, but it actually wasn't. So, because of that, two things before you, and what is before you, and what I'm going to ask that the commissioners approve tonight, is the First Amendment to the development agreement between the commission and ATG Real Estate Development LLC / 2929 Carlson Drive LLC. And so what had happened was this delayed the timeline for the construction of the property. I would say this, however, that after they got the soil issue resolved, they've been moving very, very quickly, I think, and you'll see once they got the elevator in and things are moving, which is a good thing. But so as not to violate the development agreement, they did a couple things. One, they asked for an extension till October, which is in the amendment that you have before you. And that's section 1.1C. Would now read that they would have up until October 1st of this year to substantially complete it. Mr. Gasevich has indicated, who's the principal of both those LLCs, has indicated that that's more than enough time he believes to substantially complete it. And based on where they are now, I think that's probably a good date. Secondly, the incentive would be changed from $1.6 million to $1.7 million, and what that extra $100,000 is a settlement of the claims that they had against the commission, or would have against the commission, for the subsurface soils that weren't in the condition that they expected them to be in, or that we represented to them that we believe they were in. And the commission has not admitted any liability, and the release has been signed, and so there's not a situation where the commission is admitting any fault. In fact, I believe that your attorney, Mr. Westland, is going to schedule an executive session with the commissioners to discuss kind of where we are on that claim. And I think it's better to have it in the executive session because it does involve potential litigation, and it's better to have that kind of private conversation with your attorney to discuss where that's going. But I can only tell you that it is my hope, based upon what Mr. Westland and I know about the soil conditions, that the Redevelopment Commission is able to recover the settlement funds that it's giving to ATG in this agreement, and then some. And I think, again, he's going to get into that in executive session to discuss that with you. So those are the two changes. Well, there's actually a third. The other small change, which is on page 3 of the amendment, is paragraph 3, in which the developer is, pursuant to his discussion with Mr. Talon and the department, would recover the funds that he expended for permits up front. Those would be refunded to him on the back end. Those are the terms of the amendment. If there are any questions about this or the project, I'm happy to answer them if I can. If not, I'll probably defer to Mr. Talon. Thank you.
Seems to me the extension to October is a no-brainer. That's easy, in my mind. Does this represent a 1.6 hit to the city of Hammond? Is that, or a 100,000? I mean, the wording there.
Sure, Commissioner Kasperky, the actual change is from 1.6 to 1.7. So the 1.6 was already the incentive. Now it's going to be 1.7. The extra 100,000 is the settlement amount for the soil issue.
And would that 100,000 be within a plus-minus range that may have been foreseen or not? I mean, I understand it happened. I don't think that that's a problem. I mean, but is that a lot?
Well, I can tell you this, his initial demand on the city was 260,000. And so we negotiated this to 100,000. We thought that was a fair amount. I think if you ask Mr. Gasevich, I think he would tell you that he thinks he's taking still a bit of a hit on it, but he's willing to be a good partner with the city on this and deal with it that way. I think, Mr. Talon, is that pretty much accurate?
I agree. The initial meeting was for the 260,000, so obviously there's been several meetings to get to this point where we're actually putting the agreement in front of you and saying that this $100,000 amount, is the agreed upon price at this point.
Okay, and then excuse me, this approval of this amendment, should this be done in sections? For instance, if we say the extension's okay, the 100,000 is okay, and of course I'm, using kind of layman's terms here, and the third, should we wait for executive session? Is that?
No, I think the executive session has to do with potential litigation, not this litigation, but other litigation. So the amendment should be approved in whole as presented. There's 3 paragraphs there. The first is the extension. The second is the increase of 100,000 in the incentive. And the third is the permit issue. It should be approved in total, I would think, unless there's some sort of...
Is the refunding of the permit, and I think it's $7,000 or something. I know in a project this big, it's nothing. But is that something new, or did that just get...
That was something we actually agreed upon early on with ATG, and for whatever reason, it kind of, when they went in for the permits, they ended up paying for them, even though we verbally told them that the permit fees would be waived at that time, so.
In writing.
Yeah, this just puts it in writing and memorializes it.
So that's something we'd have to pay. That has, actually, it's just the change in the amendment, in the agreement, since we're making the approval for all of them at this time, but we would have had to, based on our agreement in the past, we would have had to pay him back for the permit fees eventually anyhow.
That's the only questions I had. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't have any questions, but I drive by there every day, because I'm on 94 every day, and you can just see that these guys are really out there taking care of business with this project, so it'll be a good thing.
He's been a very good developer to work with. He's really been somebody that you can, when he tells you something, he does it. If anything, he's been pushing us. I think Phil will tell you that he's very good at making sure he's timely on getting emails to us, on getting the information we need. And if anything, we had to kind of explain to him that, government works a little bit slower because we have to wait for board meetings and we can't just make the decision on our own and things like that. But he actually is a very good person to deal with. I think he's well respected. It's great that Hammond has him as a partner in this and potentially other developments. So.
Commissioners, if there's no other questions, I move to approve I guess it would be 3 amendments with what is now known as 2929 Carlson Drive LLC, as received today, or as dated here, February 26th, 2000, we're amending a 2015 agreement.
I second that.
And the release of settlement. You have that.
And the release of settlement?
There's a settlement agreement that would, you can do it by separate motion, but you can include it in this motion that you're approving the release as well.
Did we discuss the settlement agreement?
No?
I don't know if we did. Let me,
We should.
I guess I talked about it, but if I could pass this out.
I thought you did already.
No, I just got it this afternoon. I could just take one and pass one down. And my apologies, I thought the draft was kind of included, and I just had this recent signed one, so I apologize for that. What this is, and I kind of alluded to this, is the release of all of ATG Development's claims for soil conditions, and you can see kind of right in here, let me just get to the good part here. It's about 4/5 of the way down in that first long paragraph. It says, on account of or in any way growing out of the allegations contained within a claim made for soil remediation and unsuitable man-made, unsuitable subsurface soil discovered during the excavation of the commercial building project at Oxbow Landing. So that's kind of what we are, we negotiated and what we've arrived at, a settlement of $100,000 for those claims. And this is his release saying that he'll never sue the redevelopment commission, the city, anybody, any of you. I think the commissioners are even listed in there. And so this is the release, and this agreement basically is then part of the amendment in that section 2 of the amendment.
So this would be more documentation related to item 2.
Correct. That's where the 100,000 is coming from.
100,000.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And he's signed that, as you can see. I just got his signature this afternoon for both ends. So,
And then, commissioners, if there's no other questions, and since that's just the same, I mean, it seems like it's addition to the same, again, I move to approve the amendments regarding 2929 Carlson Drive from the agreement dated February 26, 2005, including the release before us today, absolute and total release of all claims is titled.
He said 2005, it's 2015.
I mumble. 2015.
And I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the First Amendment Development Agreement dated February 26, 2015. Is there any further discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Solo Presley?
Yes.
Caspergy?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes, motion passes.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, number 9, public comment. Anybody?
Just real quick. One of the things Mr. Smith alluded to was an executive session. I would ask that we do that on March 15th, your next meeting, that we schedule an executive session. I don't know about your calendars, but the subject matter would be potential litigation relative to the subsurface and contamination relative to.
So we just say so moved?
Yeah, I mean, we have to set a time. I don't know if you, I know that 4:30 is.
Same date as a redevelopment meeting, so like 4
Yeah.
o'clock.
Well, you could either go before, but I know some of you have problems getting before, so, you know, I don't know what's gonna be on your agenda, Phil, but, you could potentially say 5 o'clock for your executive session if you wanted to do that. I don't anticipate, talking to you for more than a half an hour, anyway, so if you wanted to do 4, I think that's safe, but I don't know if everyone can be here at that time, so.
I can be here at 4 o'clock.
I could be here for.
Okay, well, then I would suggest 4.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
So before the meeting, we'll have the executive session.
Yeah, and then that should take, like I said, less than a half an hour, so we'll probably get a little,
20 minutes, 25 minutes.
we'll probably get a break, and then we'll go right into the regular meeting.
Since this is just, I think, in comments, I guess I have the right to comment, but didn't we just approve it? And now we're gonna have executive session regarding litigation after it? And
Let me clarify real quick, and I don't know if Kevin, you know, because Phil and I are so familiar with
that was the
it.
question I asked him, but I'm feeling like I got thrown a curveball here, because
No.
I kinda asked that.
What you approved tonight was a settlement with the developer, right, who's building it. That doesn't resolve the issue of you potentially initiating litigation against the guy who is responsible, or entity that is responsible for the crappy soil. And we've had some testing done out there, in light of the things that have come to light relative to the office building, but you folks need to make a decision, and we're gonna have a recommendation for you, of whether or not you want to proceed with litigation and initiate litigation against the one that we believe caused the problem.
So the executive session is about us initiating litigation, not
That's correct.
not accepting it.
That's correct.
That's concerning.
I don't know that you get to accept litigation, it kind of just happens to you, but
Whatever the verb is there, but yeah.
it would be, you know, now.
Okay, now I understand, thank you.
And the issue is, you know, we've had some kind of soil stuff going on, nothing to the extent that you just saw and approved. And now it's come to a point where the commission needs to make a decision as to whether or not, you know, we added now 100,000 in this one. What are we gonna do about it? It's either we just say, okay, or I think we've had some testing done where we believe we can prove some things that I want to talk to you guys about in executive session, and then you'll make a call on whether or not you want to move forward in initiating something against the responsible party or not.
So, the 15th, 4 o'clock should be fine with me. I mean, things change, but here or somewhere else?
Right here.
Right here.
No, you can set it. I just want to make sure everyone's all right with it.
All right, we're gonna have an executive, session, March 15th at 4 o'clock.
Greg?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You know, signify by saying.
Oh.
aye.
Oh, is that a motion?
Yeah, just signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Executive session will
Let's
be
go
at
to the next number, Greg.
4 o'clock, March 15th. All right, number 9 then, public comment. If anybody out there would like to come forward and speak.
Can we force someone to give public comment?
Doing a fine job.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to the president.
Thank you, Dean. Okay, then, public comment is closed. Number 10.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Can you all signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it, meeting adjourned.